All right, we're live. We'll wait about another minute before we do live. But if you guys are out there and posting the comments, I can see who's in here and reply back. All right, coming down to live. There may be people in the room now, and I'm not smart enough to figure out how that works. And as you post, I can say in replies, they can come in and I can put them on the screen and reply to them. Let's roll. All right, they should be broadcasting live into YouTube and Facebook. And we'll just get this party started. I'm Grant. I'm the owner of Gearhead School. I'm in the central North Carolina area. And Gearhead all my life. Started fresh out of high school, did a diploma. That's all you could get in North Carolina. Went to work at a Honda dealer, 2 years at a dealer. Left, started my own Honda shop for over 15 years. Sold to my first 2 employees. They still have it. Moved 3 times and it's sitting on about 2.5 acres of land and 10,000 square foot. I think 15, 18 bays, 4 or 5 ton air conditioning units in the back, fully air conditioned shop. And the good thing about all this is I've got keys to the place. Before they built that new facility, they called me over there and give me keys. So that's good. So I got my finger. I'm always in the shop environment and in education. And I have had several training products, and I just never could quite find a software that did what it needed to do. And I think I've got it. This is really as far as I'm concerned, this is it. One issue I had is the training, and I'll show you some of my training material here in just a second. My problem was sell to individuals, that's good, but then I wanted to sell to shops. I'm very well connected in the state of North Carolina. I've been a member of, it used to be Independent Garage Owners in North Carolina. And I joined it as soon as I started my shop. And it's merged the tire group, and now it's ASTA, which is it's ASTA, which is actually a conglomeration of a tire association. It's Automotive Service and Tire Alliance. So it's the merger of a long-term tire group and a long-term garage group. Of course, the tire guys do garage work and the garage guys sell tires. And so it was just better to merge the two and have one office and ultimately become stronger. So I retired a few years back from the community college system. And I like online stuff. So let me pop up. It's gearhead.school. I built a site every keystroke. Just got to the point I felt like I was ready to launch. That's why I went live tonight. I've shaken it down, and I actually have had this same product powered by 2 or 3 different platforms. The missing piece is always the ability to sell training in seats. Like if I go to a shop, and like I say, I'm fairly well connected, particularly in North Carolina. I go into a shop and the guy says, "Yeah, I got me buy some 4 seats, and I got guys coming through and we'll use it." Well, then they'll put Johnny in, and Johnny's 2 months later he jets, and the software really couldn't handle that very well. So now I actually have, for the shop people, the commercial accounts, you can buy a set of seats, say 10 seats, 5 seats. We price it however you need it. And then you can swap out without even calling me. You have the software, you'll be able to put Freddie in. 2 months later, Freddie's not doing what he's supposed to do, or he's not there. You pull Freddie out and put Julie in. same seat, really easy interface. And so you pay you're buying per seat, not per person. But that's just for commercial. And for individuals, you buy one up. Let me bring up the other screen. I'll just go away. I can put, well, let me show you. I could stick me over here, in the corner. Uh, but I'll just, I can come back anytime I need to. And if I'm responding to some folks, I can come back on. I can do things like do this, do that. But I may stay on the side just so you know I'm a real person. I'm really here. And this is the Automotive Career Guide. And so I got 3 products. I'll kind of highlight all 3 of them. And then love to take, some input from people with some questions about the product. I have a major course. It's called Automotive Essentials course. But I start off with this is actually about 3 units from that, because in that course, and I'll show you that in a second, it's pretty much everything. It covers all the essentials. It's like 70 lessons, very granular, and I demo that. But out of that course, I pulled about these 4 units, mainly for um, those that want to go into the industry and they're doing it the wrong way. So I include the Automotive Career Guide, which I could say is 4 units pulled out of a bigger course. And this is totally free. You do have to register. I'm not going to bug you, but I want to do this because, let me pull this over here. Let me go away a second, try over here and look, and it looks so crazy. So I'm going to go away for a second. And so this is let's say the course. Is all you got to do is register and have access. I can get into the careers, shop careers, what we generally think about. Well, even within shop careers, now you have a flat rate person doing general repair. Then you have maybe a front end guy, the AC HVAC guy. You may have, different types of shop careers. What type of shop do you want to work in? Do you want to work in a fleet shop and work 3rd shift in the middle of the night, which may not be a bad thing if you like to do it that way, or you can do want to do it. Everything rolls in the door shop and the flat rate tech. You want to work in a specialty shop that specializes, say, in undercar repair. Do you want to work at a single brand shop, which I've had. So when you open this up, you'll see that we do that. We talk about the shop foreman. And I use some YouTube videos when they're really drive home to the point, when they're on the money, but I don't just put them in there for filler. We talk about the technicians as A-Tech, kind of the industry goes A-Tech, B-Tech. Within B-Tech, I'm breaking it down where you may have a large shop and you're doing various types of, you might be doing a line tech, doing everything the next job up, light, heavy, maybe doing a lot of undercar work at a place that's billed as a brake shop or alignment shop. You do a lot of undercar stuff. Transmission specialist, which is getting kind of rare. The transmissions are built so complex. I think this is like a 10-speed transmission. It's approaching unbuildable in the field. I know there's some guys say that's never going to happen, but it's getting pretty close. Some are, sealed. You have to go aftermarket to even find replacement parts. It's just not like it used to be. It used to be an automatic transmission in a repair shop. Every major city had 2 or 3 on the corner. And I'm seeing there's still some guys that do it. But it's just they're having to go to build a lot of their own parts, and it's getting you get 10, 12 speed transmissions. And of course, I guess transmissions are ultimately, when you get into electric motors, this is going to take another hit. But transmission specialist, then we had A to B, and then the C Tech is going to be your entry level service, and you work your way as a C Tech, and then B, then A, kind of the way we work. Talking about front end careers, I just briefly, This is a different skill set. A good tech is not going to make a good front end career person. A good front end career person is not going to make a good tech. Two totally different skill sets. And I cover in the front end. You're not diagnosing anything. Your job is to find out the customer's concern and get that back to the back end, and they take care of the car. And here again, this is all free. What you're seeing here, mobile diag. Now, quite frankly, I wish this was a thing when I was young. Yeah, back when I was young, you saw somebody ride around with a van with a floor jack and a bunch of tools. They were hanging brake pads and bolt on alternators in the parking lot, rain or shine. And you just figure this person can't afford a shop, or they just didn't appeal to me. But now it's a whole different thing. You have specialties, people that are very specialized that are going to be called out to the scene because the person at the shop is over their head, so to speak, or it just doesn't make sense to try to train in that area. So you have people that are riding around doing, a lot of network diagnostics with a body control module, where you have your outside mirror. I saw there's one YouTube video. I think it's Diagnosed Dan, which is one of my favorites. He had one where the radio wouldn't play or something in the interior panel wasn't working. It turned out to be it was a water leak into the outside mirror, which pulled down a CAN bus, which was all the instrument stuff. And so it's a whole different world. But what I'm getting at now, and come back in here for a second. I'm getting at now is you take a mobile diag, doesn't need a brick and mortar store. You find like Keith Perkins, L1, has a brick and mortar, but he also has, I think, 3 or 4 Sprinter vans. I think his wife actually drives one. They're big into body control module reprogramming and security systems, and even they're all locksmiths with key cut machines on the vans. So now, like I say, when you ride around this van doing mobile work, it's not hanging brake pads and alternators in the parking lot. It's specialized work, and it is a very viable business model, and it keeps you from having to invest, $500,000 in a brick and mortar facility to even get started. Let's go back. So we got mobile diag guys. So those are some career choices. I'm trying to make that. Let's go now to shop types, and here again, I won't open them all up, but side here, try some tricky stuff out here. So if you just looking at the table now, one thing I notice on all my modules, when you open it up, this table of contents at the top. It's very granular. So this is considered one lesson on the mobile diagnostic careers. And you notice I can click on a link and get straight to it. So I challenge you to find somebody's training that is very granular, and you can, within 2 clicks, be sitting on a piece of information. You don't need to read, you don't sit down like a novel and read the whole book to find out what's in the middle. You need to read this over time, consume this content, all of it. But then you need to go back and find that one piece that you need right now real quick. And I don't put any stipulations on the orders. You got to take anything. I don't have any prereqs. In electrical, I'll show you in a second, there's some better case scenarios. And but so we're looking at shop types. We talk about the general, the brand specific. I had franchise shops. Here again, franchise shops tend to be the boxes, that they're working on a specific thing, and it talks about the business model too, about what it might be like to work at these different places, even though I haven't worked at all these type of places, but it just reminds you, the business model at each one of these. Fleet operations. Maybe you like to go in and work on the same thing. You'll have a lot of fleets that are the same kind of car or same kind of truck, and you don't have a whole lot of surprises. Here again, some statistics. A lot of fleets lease cars, rent cars, trucks, and that might be attractive to you to go in second shift you know, knock it out and come home and have the rest, get some sleep and have the day off. Of course, not all fleet work's done at night. Some of it is, but a lot of consistency. And knew some guys that worked for the city in Greensboro, and like they're working on the same engines and the same type of stuff. So they actually training's done in the house. You don't have to bring Cummins in, or they bring. So you're not always having to stay going to upgrade training because you're working on a lot of times the same type of machinery and the same brand. So pros and cons. New car dealership. Go new car dealership. And I get into a trend now. A new car dealer is going to have nice and clean place, going to have one brand to work on. I worked at a dealer for a couple of years. Uh, One dynamic's going on now you might want to, you know, think about is dealer groups. They used to, you roll into a town that was, Johnson's Honda. It was the Johnson family in town owned it. And they had a vested interest in the community. They were, and your boss wasn't that too far away to even the owner if you kind of went the ladder. But now you're seeing this a lot of them being the dealer groups where Rick Hendricks of the world and Penske. So here's a chart I put together of the top dealer groups and how many different outlets they have. That is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's say you say I want to work in a dealer. You decided, I'm going to work in a Honda dealer. Get a Honda, not a bad gig. But you like to maybe travel. Maybe every 2 or 3 years you just like to move. Well, if you were looked into a dealer group and they had, say, Honda dealers across the Pacific Northwest, and you'd like to kind of move around a little bit, that might be a good way to ease you to move from one Honda dealer to the next within the same dealer group. So just be aware that's a dynamic. You very rarely see a standalone single dealer anymore. All these have organizational charts. Probably what you're going to find. The same thing takes ABC. And there's a big push, to get factory trained. And it's a slog, but you need to not die. The higher you get trained, the more valuable, the more useful you are to the dealer because they've got the point where a lot of warranty work requires you can't work on that particular warranty repair. It's a given manufacturer's dealership unless you've been trained on that. So you start getting high credential within the training, you become more and more valuable. And it's a real problem. Some horror stories out there, people be putting rental cars for 2 or 3 weeks because the car's sitting at a dealer and they don't have a tech. If the dealer wants to fix under warranty, they don't get paid. A lot of cases from the manufacturer, but they're trying to keep the customers happy. But that's a dynamic that's going on. A dynamic that's going on now is the higher you get credential within the dealer, you know, uh, you're going to be in a good position. One thing about a dealer, you're using the same service information system. You're using, working on one car, factory tools. Most dealers have to buy it. It's not optional. Training is going to be, high end, good training from the manufacturer. Um, you're going to have, a bigger group. You're going to have good benefits as a rule, and all that good stuff. And all these I put at the bottom to remind you that if you're a tech, you have a basic skill set that can be used by a lot of people. Heavy equipment, diesel, aircraft, wind turbine, it kind of industrial machinery. You know, you could pretty easy parallel, do parallel slide into any of these industries. So don't cut yourself short. So now coming up now on the area where I want to park my hat on for a few minutes. I got one of these is really, so we're looking at training now. See the little guy here, we can collapse this accordion. Public schools, it's coming up here, it's churning around. Here we go. We start off, ASC is, which certifies shops, also has a program for certifying schools. And so when you start looking at potentially post-secondary, you really want to look at, make sure the ASC is certified because um, And I'll show you why. Let me scroll down here. So the benefits of that is if you want to go a manufacturer's program, which is pretty slick. Let's say Ford, you have a GM asset, excuse me, GM asset, Ford asset, Honda Pack, Toyota 210, BMW Step. These are programs where you go into your local community college for 2 years for associate degree, but a lot of your credit is actually working at the dealer for money. I actually taught in the Honda Pack program at the end of my career with the state of North Carolina. So I've got 18 students in there. They're all going to Honda. They're in my classroom using Honda cars. A lot of times they're buyback cars. We have Honda cars that are fairly new, Honda equipment, Honda training material, and then they're doing their co-op. But a lot of the credit is earned in the field working at a Honda dealer for money. They don't have to go look for a job. When they graduate, they've already been working at a dealer probably for a year or two. It's a 2-year program. So if they start at a given Honda dealer, when they start a Honda Pack program at the community college, they'll be working at that dealer for 2 years. And they're also becoming credentialed within the training. So the training they're taking is the Honda training and Toyota training and GM training. So when you graduate after 2 years, you've been working at a dealer for 2 years, you're probably making some, and you got to, I think it's 20 hours a week minimum to make the school happy for your credit hours. But you can work. I had some guys who are working 30, 40 hours a week. I work Saturdays and even Sundays, or mainly Saturdays, and long hours during the week. And so they were, by the time they graduate from school, they're probably 2/3 away from being a master tech within the brand. So if you do have a brand you like, a dealer brand, and there's links. If you look on them, these are links right here to take you right to these programs, learn about them. You have secondary, which is high school. Some schools have it. Some schools have good ones. Some schools have okay ones. I'm just going to say it. I don't think it's super critical that you, if you're a gearhead, that you do this. If you want to do that, it's fine. But where you're really going to lock and load is post-secondary. Now, I may get some bad raps over that, but just don't go there right now. We really want to park the hat on tonight is post-secondary programs. It says 1-year diploma. That really didn't. What happens is virtually everybody has a 2-year associate degree. And that's really the gold standard, so to speak, is a 2-year associate degree at a state-supported community college. Some still offer a diploma in case you go 1 year and you don't show up in the second year, you don't come back for whatever reason. You get 1 year under your belt, they can get you typically, you check all the boxes for a diploma and you become a completer. There's a big push in the most state-supported community colleges to have completion. And matter of fact, their funding for the school is driven by completion ratio. And so what'll happen, you go 1 year and then life gets in the way and say, hey, Swain, man, coming back. And we do the paperwork and get you a diploma. But typically, you need to go ahead and lock and load for a 2-year associate degree. It's going to take you 2 years. Typically, you don't go the second summer. You should. I taught at school for a long time. We went 2 full years, needed every bit of it. And they decided, we were going to drop the second summer. And then we had 4 instructors sitting there deciding who's going to go to, who's going to work year round, who's not. And, but either looking at 2 full years or a year in the second summer, you don't go back. For associate's degree, here's important. Associate's degree at a state-supported school is accredited, can be parlayed into a 2+2, which is coming up. That's kind of what I did. And we're talking about the OEM-specific programs. As expected, I worked hard on this. We have all the manufacturers, all the programs, the number of locations in the country, and links right to their site. So you can go right to the Mopar Cap asset, Asset, ACEP Pack, Subaru U, and T10. They're all good. Toyota looks good. Yeah, they're all good, but um, you'll see some locations too based on the Subaru. It looks like it's 100 plus locations, but Subaru a lot of times will go to a school and give them access to the training, try to get them one car. Um, the Subaru commitment, as far as these 100 plus locations, is not near the commitment you're seeing, say, at Toyota T10. You're getting all special tools. You're using the curriculum. You're getting Toyota training instructors. You're getting the whole enchilada. So anyway, if you're going to go to a community college coming out of high school, or even if it's not straight out of high school, if you go to community college for associate degree in automotive technology and you like a brand, why not? I'm from the aftermarket industry. I'm from the independent garage side, and a lot of my alliance, most of my contacts in North Carolina all run independent shops. But the dealers need techs. We all need techs, and we all have to pull the rope in the same direction. So if you go and get a 2-year associate degree, then you can turn around and take that called 2+2. There's many schools, and as you may guess, I've done the homework here. These are all the most significant 2+2 programs where you get a 4-year bona fide college degree stacked with 2 more years on top of the first 2 that you got your community college. And the second 2 typically can be delivered online. A lot of the versions can be delivered online, so you don't have to relocate. And you end up with a 4-year degree, and it's very doable. That's what I did. When I graduated from high school, there wasn't such thing. It was a diploma. Got my diploma, went out in the industry. When the associate degree became a thing, and I started thinking about maybe teaching, I knew I can't teach an associate degree program without associate degree. So I hustled up, got the rest of the classes knocked out, and got an associate degree. And I ended up taking a teaching position at the with the North Carolina Community College system. Did that for about 17 years. And along the line, I got thinking mom and dad were blue collar workers, and dad already passed away by them, but they wanted both their kids to be college educated. My sister went off to Appalachian State University, did as a teacher. And when I come up and said, hey, I want to work on cars, there's no such thing as a 4-year college degree. And they said, we want you to be happy. So they were. But I went from that diploma to an associate degree. And I didn't need the 4-year degree to finish out what I want to do in my life. But I said, let me knock this out. And so I was able to get a 4-year degree. And mother was elated. Dad already passed away. She couldn't quite understand how I got it from Valley City, North Dakota. And she wanted to know if I was going to go up there for graduation. I said, no, I'm not going to Valley City, North Dakota. They'll send it to me. But I did this, and it works fine. And I highly recommend you always invest in stackable education. We're going to talk about something that's not stackable here in just a second. So here's some schools that offer the 2+2. Some of these that have Fair State University, those guys have a great reputation. See, we at the community college, a lot of times we're going to training that's only available for instructors, and some of these events, the 4-year degree schools and the 2-year degree schools are going to the same training. So I rub shoulders with some of these folks. The guys are fair. Now they're up in Michigan, close to Detroit. So they is a really heavy duty program. And a lot of their people end up feeding into the automotive industry in Detroit area. McPherson College is noted for restoration. It's they have 4 or 5 different flavors of their degree. Jay Leno goes there a lot, does stuff from there, and donates gazillions of dollars. And it's the premier restoration program in the country. If that's what you want to be, have your car at in California, it's car shows. This is where you want to go, McPherson College. Penn Tech, there's some conferences up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. They do it well. Southern Illinois University, they're good. It used to be since you're getting state money, you had to be most like North Carolina. If you come to North Carolina community college system or the college system, most cases, if you're out of state, the tuition jacks up because you didn't pay taxes in North Carolina. But Southern Illinois, I'm pretty sure of this. Years ago, they started actually doing in-state tuition for even those for states that touch the borders around the outside. And some of these schools are starting to do the work the math to where they can pretty much bring people out of the state without a tremendous burden financially. Weber State University, love them. Professor John Kelly does his YouTube channel. He's a very interesting person. He's the only one I know that can talk for an hour and a half on transmission fluid. So if you got a subject matter and you want to know everything there is to know about it, then he has a video about it. You know, get the big gulp, a big drink and some popcorn, and it's going. He covers it in depth. So these are all 2+2 schools, and you have to already have gone to a state level school that accredited for the first 2 years, and then you do 2 more years at this, which brings up the next lesson, which I want to make sure. I'm probably going to say some things I shouldn't, but I just not a fan, and I hope you'll see it when I get through here. These are private for profit, and you'll see you can jump down. But let me go down here. I see you need to fully understand what this means. This is not the same thing as going to a state-supported automotive program. They're totally, it's like oil and water. They don't mix. They don't transfer credit. Let's just look at it. They sell these things by army of salespeople out there running around and mainly showing up in high school programs. They don't show up anything like, where it's an automotive event where there's nobody there. You're predominantly going to see them popping in and out of high school programs. And of course, they have an online presence and they get people to contact them that way. But let's look at this chart. I can't tell you. I built this chart. This is probably 50 hours of work. I knew somebody, the only way to get the truth out is shine some light on it. You better know what you're talking about. So I know what I'm talking about. You're not going to find anything like this. This is all built by me. This is every campus of every school. You got Lincoln Tech, NASCAR Tech, UTI, and Biotech. Biotech has an interesting background. So this is every campus location. If you click these links, that will take you right to a government-sponsored organization database that has all this information. It'll take you a long time to wrap your brain around how to get this information and get it into this format. So I've done the work. So if you really think I'm making this stuff up, because I'm sure when you bring this information up to the recruiter, he's going to say, "Oh, that guy, he just don't fart, don't know what he's talking about." I do. These links will take you straight to the page. Now, if I click the link now, it's going to open in a new tab. You're not going to see it. I got so credit hours, average time to completion in months, student to faculty ratio, how many students per teacher. We have some people look at the NASCAR Tech in Mooresville, North Carolina, 53 to 1. 53 students to 1 instructor. When I taught at the college system, 18 to 1 was pretty much as high. We may go 20 if we had some late registrants and they looked like they were, 18 to 20 is it. Sorry, Charlie. They got 53 to 1, 42 to 1, 37 to 1. Now you always hear, what's the cost? You can't go to the website. If you go to the website, you've got to fill out a form. You can't find a cost. It's kind of like it's a mystery what's going to cost. When you hear a number, that's pretty fluid. And what does that include? So bottom line, here's the cost. Pick out your favorite place. NASCAR Tech. It's 53 to 1 faculty to student. And most of these shops do not do live projects for all practical purposes. There may be where you can be car on a Saturday and work on it. When we taught, we did predominantly live projects from the students. We're rebuilding, we're doing breaks. We do live break jobs from the students, families and friends, faculty. Almost all this stuff is going to be on trainers. But let's see, so there's two levels, and it's got the footnotes at the bottom. Cost one basically is, best way I understand it is, if you go to the school and you got a place to stay, you live with your family, or you don't need housing. So cost one is all the costs to go to school minus housing. Cost two is they arrange housing. I understand there's 2 to a bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments. That don't sound like something I particularly want to do. So let's go back to NASCAR Tech. The real number there is basically 49,000 and change. I don't care what the recruiter tells you. And when it comes down to high school and talks to you, or it goes to you see your parents because, you made the contact in the high school program, found out who you were. Or if you just filled out a form online, there was somebody knocking on your door probably before the sun sets to get in front of you with some numbers. These are the real numbers. A little over 49 grand to go to NASCAR Tech. That's if you already have a place to stay. And 60 grand if you don't. So some sort of national numbers here. How about East Windsor, Connecticut for Lincoln Tech? 61 grand, 89 grand. I remind you, you can go to a 2-year associate degree at a community college. I don't know, 20 grand tops. Probably not that much. And you're in your hometown or very close by your hometown. And the instructor worked in the industry in the same town, and he has connections. He can put you to work. If he got much going for you, he'll get you a job. These guys don't, well, we get you a job. They're going to give you a list of places you can go. But if you go to your local community college, that instructor's connected with the shop owners, get you a job. That's the real cost. All you got to do is get to this career guide is register. So I'll ask. It's come down to average of all programs, 36 to 1 student faculty ratio, 53,000. If you have a place to stay, 70 grand. If you don't have a place to stay, that's the number. And here's a link but these links take you right to that particular school's page on the National Center for Educational Statistics. This is a federally funded site. Credit transfer, there isn't credit transfer. You can read your statements. So here's the thing, you could go spend 20, 30, 40. You could, you maybe don't make it. You go halfway through the program and you already got 30 grand and so vested, you bail out and I'll just finish off at community college. No, you got to start all over again. And when I was an instructor, I haven't come into my office and, hey, I want to transfer. Okay, from where? There's a school down the street. It was a private profit school. I said, well, you can't transfer. And it's a bad feeling to see a look on a guy's face when he realized he screwed the pooch. And then, this guy said, I've been there 6 weeks in, I knew it was a wrong decision. And I've already spent over $25,000 just to get there. And you're telling me none of the transfers. I said, that's right. You got to wait until the fall. Everything has prereqs. You got to start in the fall. And, everything you've done now doesn't count. So you can read the statements. Here's the credit transfer statements. Financial aid, that's also part of this, cooked into the thing. When you watch the news and you see all the student debt, if you start peeling this thing back, you'll find that it's not just the automotive program that has the private for-profit schools. Everybody has them. And a tremendous amount of the student debt out there is from private for-profit schools, which are the degrees can't be really. Sometimes you get this degree, then you're gonna go get a job, and they want the specific degreed that's it was you have this degree won't count, and the only way to get the degree is going to count is go back start all over again. The bad thing about it is that you end up most people just drop out. You start chatting up, and people find out you're people all around you that have done this, but they're not particularly proud. They want to talk about it, but I stumble on people all the time. Um, Real quick story, then I got many stories, but my house had HVAC tech, out there doing the service, and HVAC's being serviced, and then this guy, I don't know, his late 20s, early 30s, just chatting it up. And what do you do? I said, I'm an automotive guy. And said, well, I was going to be one. This guy was in a military. He'd gone to Iraq, shot at and all that. He was in the service overseas. Comes back and had this a GI Bill. He had so much money he could spend on a degree. He ends up going to one of UTI schools, ran through all his money, and he didn't have enough to finish. Excuse me. He borrowed the money. Of course, read the fine print. This is loan shark rates. Then you wonder, is that part of the business model is to get some out in there and then know they're going to need money and then loan them the money. He borrowed a bunch of money from them to finish. I don't even think he finished. I finally said, well, what's the ultimate end? So, well, right now, I'd use all my GI Bill and borrow more money. I'm still paying back. And that was like 6 years. He'd been paying off of his extra money above and beyond the GI Bill. Then he went loan, got through the school, and he's still paying it back. And it was 8 years later. And he's in HVAC. He didn't even work in the industry. And that's, I got more, but we're not going to do it tonight. That's not uncommon at all. Everybody gets a scholarship. Dennis and Menace is going to get a scholarship. I say, here's a guy talking, man, I went down and went to this school, and boy, it's beautiful. And I know it's a lot of money, but they're going to give me some loans, and I got a scholarship, and they knocked off 10 grand. And it's just, you can read this. Tool discounts, all schools can get tool discounts. Job placement, the best job placement, the best job placement is going to a school with instructors in the school, live in the community, and probably work in the community, and they can place you. All right, let's wrap up. Try to get to the teen education is just going to be basically about what you can do after you get out of school, or if you didn't go to school. This is stuff that's in the industry, continuing education, all different organizations that deliver training, what type of training, conferences. You see, these are links. Here again, we come here, you hit a link and get straight to that. So you hit a major category over on the left. Then once you get to a page, you drop down from the top, right straight to what you want to see. And then we'll talk about the bottom. We just finished up with the ASC programs, what that means, like ASC certs, everything you ever want to know about ASC certs, why you probably need to do this. I put together a table here, all the certifications, how many people actually have them, percentage of the tech working techs. And so you can see come down like a L1. There's 27,000 people who've passed the L1. That's only 4% of the working mechanics. So if you're an L1, which is pretty high end, Master Tech means you have all 8. It's 8.5%. The L1 is separate. You have to have drivability. L1 is high end emissions and drivability. That's only 4% of the working population in the automotive industry have. So if you got an L1 certified and Master Tech, you're pretty elite. And that's what a Master Tech looks like on the shoulder. That's what L1 looks like, is an extra tag. They also have some hybrid electric stuff. And just as you download the study guide, explains the work experience you have to have in addition to passing the test. You have to have an X number of years, and it tells you there's a link to a page that you can calculate if you go to school, an ASE certified school, even post-secondary and secondary. A lot of that will count towards your work experience. They can knock that down. And we'll wrap up with a blue seal of approval, which is shops that hire a certain percentage of the technicians are ASE certified, and even including the service advisors have to be ASE certified. And well, might as well one more, and that's the AC refrigerant cover. Pretty straightforward. It's done online. It's cheap. You can these are 609. It's called Section 609 trainers. Main two are ASC and Max, Mobile Air Conditioning Society, are the two that really are open to the public. And this comes down and tells you, how to get in touch with them, how they deliver it, what it costs. And then ASC, I think it's virtually the same cost, both of them. You download tech prep information. And so this is the career guide. And we may 46 minutes, with 5, 6 more minutes. I will just show you that's a little part of here. Our essentials course, and I'll just scroll down. You can look at the titles. 70 lessons. So we get into industry terminology. We get into now this is all the same stuff we just pulled and made of it. Now we get the hand tools, every hand tool, what it's called, how you measure it, how you shop physics, change of state, hydraulics, simple machines, levers and gears, every fastener on the car, standard metric machine bolts, torque to yaw fasteners, explain that in detail, thread repair, thread forming, every fluid in the car, we cover in detail, diagnostic procedures, maintenance procedures, all these weird things, seal transmissions, how do you get the oil in and how do you get the oil out? There's no fill plug. It's there. Service information systems, to do with the OEM service information systems aftermarket, and then NASTAF and NHTSA, what they have to offer. I get into industry training programs, which is part of that's included in the free career guide, ASC stuff. And this is all basic electrical. It's a good, solid foundation electrical. So I come up on 48 minutes. I've covered a lot of stuff. I'll be cranking out YouTube stuff. I'll be getting more specific stuff. This is the first time I've tried the live stream. It's nice when people get involved, and then they can post a comment or ask a question, and I can see it, and then I can turn around and address that question. And so as I build up my audience, I'm looking up here. I think I see one more person. I'm showing right now one person watching. Like I say, it's cool is when I get my sea legs on this and the word gets out that I'll try to do maybe a live stream maybe once a week. If I get people showing up, particularly to help drive this, ask questions, and not just like ask me anything kind of thing. This is what tonight was, but I thought I'd also just show, what we have, which is the full bore course. We have the essentials course. They'll have this as the career guide, which is free, which is I think 3 units pull out of that. And why not? Let me show you something that will blow your socks off. And I'll do a whole night on this one. This is to polish it off. As instructor, I used a lot of YouTube videos. I didn't just throw it up there, just to so I didn't have anything to teach. I didn't put thing in there just to burn some time up. Every video I showed in class was specific to what I was teaching. It could do a better job than I could do to explain by real. So I started putting those videos into YouTube videos and playlist on YouTube site. And one day I said, I might better do something about this because if the playlist go away. So I pull them on and put them into a database. And this is a database. This is a paid product. This is pretty cool. For instance, if I get into, let's go automatic transmissions. I want to build a GM. I want to build a GM automatic transmission. And it's going to bring up, takes a second to load, a database. And controls is barely off screen. Yeah, there's the bottom. That's Airtable database. And this has 109 records. I go through and watch certain channels on YouTube. If you want to know what the channels are, they're actually in here too. And curate, like this is a transmission, a specific GM transmission, then I put it into the GM repair. If it's a Toyota transmission. So there's like, I don't know, over 100 categories. So let's look. So now that I'm in the GM, I can slide this across here. I can see the channel, the description, the views, the date it was published, how long it is, and then launch. So when you click this launch, it launches the actual YouTube page, but it goes into another tab. So if I click that button, you're not going to see anything. It pops another tab, and then you're there. You're right on YouTube, and you can see the whole thing. So particularly if you're an instructor, reach out to me, and I'll give you this for free because this is the best. Okay, you go out in class, and you can pull up this database, find how long it is, what it talks about. This is fantastic if you're an instructor. So reach out to me if you're an instructor. Contact forms on the website, and you can have this. It is a paid product, like $17 a month. You go 12 months and get it free as long as for life, my life or your life. You don't pay again to continue to have it. So I hope this is been entertaining, or at least you understand what I do here. I may actually go through and cut this up into little pieces and make it available that way, because I'm looking at 51 minutes, and that's a long time. I see Dwayne's in here. It says, Dwayne's one of my comrades. I talked with Dwayne, and he's said I'm still teaching a class tonight until 9:50. I was going to catch the whole thing. So no sweat. So that popped in at 8:48. So Dwayne's him and I were both taught in a generic program. Good man. He's still at the community college system. I need to get by and see you, Dwayne. That's really heavy on my heart. And then I will get you and all the guys over there access to this database we're looking at, which is, I think it's a game changer. I mean, I don't use that word very often, but it's pretty cool to be able to drill down to a video in a matter of a minute. Then your students, for 2 Happy Meals a month, they can have this and they can get smarter faster. This makes us so smart, so fast. You don't waste time. I've already done the homework. So this will wrap up. It's been 52 minutes. We'll see how this goes. I'm working out of my home office. Matter of fact, let me see if I can show you right quick. Yeah. Let me show you. This is command post. My wife and I sold our house about a year and a half ago. We have a town home. I sold lawnmowers and chainsaws and weed eaters. So I've got plenty of time on my hands. This is actually a bedroom. I want one room. It's mine. And so this is actually a 8-foot long butcher block countertop. It goes all the way across the wall except for 2 feet. This is all set up. You see with Rodecaster Pro audio, nice mic. I've got lights up here, which makes it all happen too. And pull it back off. And I got like a tower PC strapped to the side over here, Lenovo, switch panels on the left. I can turn all the stuff off and on. I'm kind of a sound dude. There's the 2 Mackie monitors on the far back corners, control room monitors. All this is hanging off of brackets, so I can, and it's easy to keep clean. And I can walk in here and be ready to go live in a matter of minutes. So let's wrap it up and see Dwayne. Appreciate you, buddy. And we'll get on a schedule where everybody knows way out in advance. And then I'll probably get more specific on topics. All right. Appreciate Let's do this. Appreciate it. And got my first live stream done. Bye.